Welcome into Game Changers, and guys, do we have a doozy today? Mike Cunio, Steve Goldstein.
There's nothing going on, is there?
There's nothing going on.
In fact, I might just bail out of this show. I might just sit here and listen to you guys. It's just really
Again, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we wanted to talk about it, but you kind of bailed on us.
All these appointments, I'm gonna appoint Bo director of NSB. No show Bo. That's it.
That's not a good appointment.
I should have done what I said I was going to keep my mouth shut, and I wouldn't have got into this mess.
See, you wouldn't have got into this.
I dug myself a hole. Now I'm going to dig myself out.
I told you it was going to be a doozy.
Come on, get on with this show.
We're not even talking
show, Cunio.
I'm sorry.
Cunio's wearing his pajamas to the show here. What's going on here?
Okay. Pajamas.
I got it to dig it. Both of you now ready to go.
You ready? You're warmed up.
I saw Jethro Bodine on the Beverly Hillbillies wearing a shirt like that.
Who? The Beverly Hillbillies.
Move on.
We'll Google it.
I'm surprised you guys don't Google it.
All right.
We're going to talk about the Dolphins getting back in the
shot right there.
Hey, it's only fair. We're going to talk about the Dolphins winning, but first we have to talk about something a former Dolphin said this week. Deshaun Elliott, former Dolphins safety, went on a podcast, called out the 2023 team. Let's be clear about that. 2023 team. He called them soft, not mentally tough.
Yeah.
Bo, I imagine as a football player, the last thing you ever want to be called is soft. How did you take those comments?
Well, I'll tell you the way I took it. It's not like we haven't heard that before.
Right.
Jordan Poyer came in right off the bat and said, hey, we knew how to beat this team because once you got on top of them, we knew they were going to quit. So that's already been out there. And so this just reinforces that thought from somebody else. The thing that struck me was guys coming late for meetings, guys coming late for games. That to me is a absolute no-no.
Right.
You cannot. That is a lack of discipline, and you can't have guys coming when they want to come and staying out when they want to stay out. Look. He talked about guys going out into Miami, and look, there's a lot of things to do. We all know that I remember when the Heat first started. Those teams would come down here, for a game, and they couldn't play.
The South Beach flu.
They got the vodka virus on the one night, and then they'd come and they get blown out the next night. And so that's there. But I don't think that's the issue. To me, it's the softness that they're talking about, the Miami culture that's around here that is much different than the Heat culture that they've established, the distractions. But the fact that you've got players that it's not important enough to be on time for meetings and games, those are little details that help you lose games instead of win games.
Look, as a fan, you probably want to dismiss what Deshaun Elliott said, but when you look at the teams he's played for the Ravens, he's played for the Steelers. These are teams that have that toughness label attached to them for decades now.
And let's not forget, this team came out after Jordan Poyer. You remember we're going, after like 2 days of training camp, we're going to be bullies.
That's right.
We're going to be tough guys.
A lot of talk
we're not going to be this. We're not going to be that. Well, here we go. We're still kind of back where we were a year ago when it came to those kind of comments.
So Goldie, do you think the Dolphins have shed the not tough, not soft label? Because again, he is talking about last year's team, not this year's team. Deshaun Elliott is in the locker room.
First of all, I'm not a fan when you get let go of airing the dirty laundry.
Right.
And I like Deshaun Elliott. I thought when they signed him, hey, this guy can bring some of that. He was toast. You might have gotten some butter last year. He got beat a lot. He gave up 5-6 touchdowns. So, when you're not getting it done production-wise, in general, not a fan of you bringing up all of the other stuff a year later. That aside, that's part of it because, as you said, they talked about it during training camp.
They told us.
It's time we start changing. And I do believe some of this goes into the big controversy now about how many hits should Tua Tagovailoa take. Tua is trying to exude, I'm a football player. Right. You don't have to bubble wrap me. I don't have to not go after anybody. I can extend plays and take hits now to his detriment because he got knocked out of the Buffalo game and could have been a disaster against the Rams when he went for that tackle. So it seems to me this team is really aware of all of that, and they're trying to change that. I think, you know what? When you don't win a playoff game for a quarter century, all this stuff, it's about the wins and the losses. They start winning more games. I don't think a lot of people are talking about.
No, and I think Mike McDaniel said it best, and even if people want to think that's taking the high road where he said, look, I'm only focused on this team, well, guess what? You can't do anything about 2023 anymore.
The counterproductive for him. By the way, and then Wednesday in the locker room, I was pleased with the response players were asked about it. They didn't just kind of duck their heads. They were kind of angry that he came out. So I'm glad about that part of it.
You should be.
Right.
So let's see how they respond.
Exactly.
Because you can say what you want to say, but there's a cloud lingering over this football team that they don't work very hard. Mike McDaniel has these easy practices. They're not, this is that. If you believe me or not, that's there. That commentary is there. And part of the reason that people saying they've got off this slow start, this horrendously slow start, is, well, geez, they don't practice that much, they don't hit that much, they don't do this, that. And look, they work under the same parameters as the Detroit Lions, the Baltimore Ravens, the San Francisco 49ers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, those tough football teams that are in this league all work within the parameters that are set as far as practice, yet you see different calibers of work in there. So that's hanging over their head until they prove to people that they're not soft anymore.
And the last thing I'll say on this is just a continuation of a season from 10 o'clock in the morning before opening day on 199th Street with Tyreek. It has been one thing after. They just won a game. They kind of saved their season for now. The defense doesn't give up a touchdown.
And this
is what we're talking about. It's just been like that all year.
It's
frustrating.
Every week there is something, but to kind of piggyback on the point that I think Deshaun made is that when the chips got stacked against the Dolphins last year, they kind of folded. I asked Tua about this week. Was there any sense of desperation in the building when you guys were going through this losing streak? And he said there's more urgency. Guys staying later in the building. Guys putting in more work.
Okay.
So maybe to that point, and that's why I'm stressing, that was last year's team. Maybe 2024 is a little different for the Miami Dolphins.
I'm just not a fan. Like, he was part of that team. And I know he had a really good game, the game against Dallas. He made the big tackle at the goal line. So, but
if you're going to tag him with that, you got to own it.
He was part of it.
But I'm with you, Goldie. When you look at Tua now, Tua's taking a leadership role. He's taking a leadership role from the day after he signed that contract. He became a different guy, a different leader. And with all he's gone through, with all this controversy about concussions, he came out 2 weeks ago, dove forward, dove head first for a first down. There was oh my gosh, what are you doing? And then in this game, trying to get a guy in the end zone, he's laying a block on there. And so if there's one person in this team, and I know there's a bunch of them, but there was one person in this team that's trying to deflect that soft attitude, your leader at quarterback is one of the guys doing that.
Starts at the top. That's good to see, but take care of yourself too. All right.
I'm not going to see him wearing a shirt like Cunha, but
still to come up on Game Changers. We're going to find out these guys are just going to be here at any point. Cam Ward, is his Heisman campaign in trouble after a loss to Georgia Tech? We'll talk about that next. Welcome back to Game Changers. Let's go ahead and pivot to college football. Guys, the Hurricanes had a stumble. I think at some point we all figured that this would happen. They lose to Georgia Tech. And I think there's maybe a narrative out there that maybe this has cost Cam Ward some Heisman points here. He's still there in the top 4. Goldie, I'll start with you. Did the loss to Georgia Tech ultimately cost Cam Ward potential Heisman Trophy?
I think he's still got time. He doesn't have to run the table in order to win it. Now, they've got 2 games. I don't call any games with this team easy. Okay, they could be going down and playing like, a mid-level high school team in Broward County. They'd probably fall behind 17.
How would they do against App State?
App State by 2, 52-50 probably. I mean, these guys can't get out of their own way of not falling behind in games and desperate, and it's always wild games. I don't think it cost him the Heisman. I thought he was still good in the game. You got to give the other team credit. They had a great pass rush in that game. But he's got to have a couple of really big games now in order to move back up. You still have to figure Travis Hunter's the favorite.
64% completion percentage, over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in that
I just think it's a trip. It's just a little stumble for him. Not that he stumbled, but that the team dragged him down to a stumble. But I still think right now he's the best quarterback in college football.
I agree.
You know, his ability to run, his ability to extend plays and then make big plays out of extending plays, and his ability to throw the ball short, long, and accurately. To me, right now, he's certainly one of the top two quarterbacks in college football. And I'm with you. Win some more games. Get in the playoffs. Well, I guess they vote before the playoffs get started. But
December 14th is the Heisman ceremony.
Get the job done the rest of the year. Just play the way you've been playing.
Yeah.
And if that team, the only way that to me, the only way that he drops out of the top 4 or 5 is if that team loses another game.
They lose another one, forget it.
Then forget it.
If they start to fall off.
But that's not on his shoulders.
No. Yeah, I mean, the Hurricanes have to give him some help because he is carrying them at some points. But you are a very casual football fan if you think one loss to Georgia Tech is going to cost him the Heisman. Because just go back to 2016. Lamar Jackson had ungodly numbers and had 3 losses. One to Kentucky, one to Houston, one was to Clemson. That was Clemson's heyday, no doubt about it. But to think one loss to Georgia Tech, especially the way he's lifting them up, and again, I said the number, 64 completion percentage.
Why does Miami have to do this every year?
Well, you were expecting it, right?
One of those games, you go,
They've been limited on borrowed time for the last month and a half.
They play with fire.
But even without that, it's always that game that you really don't expect. But I guess this you kind of expected to happen because it's later in the season now. So you know it's going to happen. When's it going to happen? And it was last week. And knowing that this team has this personality over the last few years, Mario's got to find a way to get over that hump.
He absolutely does. Go ahead.
It was interesting Saturday morning. That line kept on dropping.
Yeah. Yes, it did.
It was like we opened the week at 9, 8.5, and it was I think it closed at like 7.5 or 7.
Buddy, it went from 11.5.
It was 11.5. Okay.
Well, what'd you take?
So,
how many points did you take in the game?
I do not gamble. I just look for those reasons.
You just know.
And I'm wondering. I'm wondering why is this dropping?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then sure enough, they got. I thought they got beat. Really, they got beat pretty good in that game. But hey, that's happened a number of. I mean, they were beat at Cal. Till they came back with those late.
And again,
so it's frustrating from a team standpoint.
They are. They lose to Cal. They probably lose to Virginia Tech. They lose without Cam Ward.
Oh, they're 500 without Cam Ward.
And this is why I think he's still the highest.
I think they're a 5-5 team without.
So you look at this team. The team hadn't lost a game until they got there, and they're climbing up the rankings. But they climbed up 1 point, one at a time.
Yeah, chipping away.
They never jumped like 3
because
they're all tight games.
Because the voters also saw this.
Okay, you were 8. Okay, we'll give you 7.
And
now,
let's say, and those teams are playing aren't very good.
No,
they're average teams.
Right.
Well,
for the most part.
They're if you look at their strength of schedule, it is actually up there in terms of teams, D1 teams in the country. It's top 10, I believe. And
I don't see it though. And the numbers may show that.
Right. I can't figure it out.
Von Tech, Cal, Georgia Tech, the Gators.
Right.
The average teams, not bad teams.
No. But for whatever reason, the FPI is giving them a lot of credit.
The eyeball test
shows a good win.
The eyeball test shows you a different thing when you look at this team.
Right. But I mean,
because I see those teams play each other in other weeks.
Yeah.
And they're okay. Like Cal went to Florida State, who's terrible. 14-9 was the score of that game.
What gives I think the voters confidence in Miami, and again it is partly Cam Ward, but the fact that they could score with anybody.
Oh, for sure.
If you want to put them up against Texas, Oregon, Ohio, whoever,
they'll be in the game. They'll
be in the game because they can score.
Their problem is an offense.
No.
Surprisingly enough, I thought that defense was going to be a monster defense.
The defensive line's let me down.
Monster defense, and they're just struggling, man.
Yeah, especially when you know what Georgia Tech's going to do, and they're going to run the ball. And they told you they were going to run the ball.
Yeah.
All
shocking.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of shocking, something Erik Spoelstra did this week was incredibly shocking. Yes, he Chris Webbered a game away.
Come on.
We'll talk about that.
Come on.
The guy's brought a bunch of championships. Oh man.
Come on, that's a little.
Can we see him? Welcome back to Game Changers. We got to take a timeout.
Oh, come on, that's wrong.
I'm sorry.
That's
we have the
wrong.
timeouts to take. Erik Spoelstra,
we have
don't be mad at me.
We have one of the best coaches in the NBA.
Right.
A protege of the great Pat Riley, and he's brought that and you're gonna do
one mistake.
One mistake. How long has he been the coach?
17 years.
17 years. I should send you a timeout. Go put your head in the corner.
Seven NBA finals?
Something like that.
7, 8.
Almost
half the time
only 3 titles. Only 3.
Only,
Only
okay.
3.
How many you got?
Some would say that.
I'm just
you're going to go to that card.
I'm just kidding. Careful.
When was the last time you coached in the NBA?
All right, well, let's talk about big picture of this timeout.
When your daughter starts playing basketball and you call a bad timeout.
Can I honestly give you the big picture on it?
Yes.
What are you doing tied with the Pistons after overtime?
Thank you.
There you go.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Right.
Team not playing well. But you got to love Spo from this, and it's a terrible mistake.
It is.
Okay, by head coach. And he knows
Absolutely.
it. But after the game, I thought he was ready to cry at that post-game press conference because he's all
He
about.
should.
All about
I agree.
team.
Yeah.
Giving those
All
guys
about the
the
team,
opportunity, and you know if a player does it, there's probably you got to be aware.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting on the player, but he took the medicine.
All right.
Look,
now the NBA Cup's out of the question.
Look, he's
for
a-
them.
I know you wanted that
Oh, my
NBA Cup
God.
ring,
Come
didn't
on.
you? Maybe that was it. Subconsciously.
Don't get me started because
You want out of that.
Subconsciously.
That's going to lead me to Messi in this so-called soccer team we got.
No, they're out too.
Up there. They're
I
out
think
like,
subconsciously,
brushed out.
Spo is an old school guy, and he
Yeah.
thinks
No.
that NBA Cup is a bunch of garbage. So
Yeah.
subconsciously, he called the timeout.
You know what?
to lose the game.
It could be for that garbage can. It's still a game, and he doesn't want to lose that game. But you could see on his
He ran back to that.
He was
to the
frustrated.
side.
Bam kind of said.
He was so frustrated.
Yeah.
The look on his
Right.
face, he was just like, hey, timeout, you know.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he did it, you could say, oh my God.
I feel bad for him.
I
You know,
do too.
that's the
I do
ultimate
too.
tough.
I do feel bad for him, but what you said about why are you in that situation
Yeah.
Right.
with the, I think it's just kind of a microcosm where the Heat are at right now.
Yeah.
They're just. There's not a very good team.
The small sample
about
size,
average.
Well,
they are not.
average.
They are not playing well, and that's
Right.
despite
And it's
Tyler Hero playing at an
Yeah.
all-star level.
Yes.
But they don't have, the Heat, the way of being, that defense-first mentality. For whatever reason, this group right now doesn't have it. Now, you know me, I never write them off.
Yeah.
No.
I'll wait till games 50, 60, and if they're still playing like this, because they have a way of getting it together. But what you're saying may be right. And plus, Jimmy Butler, and this isn't one of those Jimmy's just sitting out. I mean, he's hurt.
He rolled an ankle.
Sure.
So,
Goldie, I do want to move over to the Panthers really quickly. I've been asking myself, racking my brain over this the last couple of weeks.
Have you been?
Are the Panthers? Yes.
Okay.
Look, you know what? You're done. You're done for this
You're out.
segment.
Cut the mic
You're
off.
out. Yeah, take the mic off. Are the Panthers better this year?
well, the fourth line is better. The forward group is better.
Yeah. Okay.
They're deeper. Remember in March we sat here and I said this is the best team in sports. They went on to lose like 4 in a row, but it showed pretty well. They ended up winning the cup.
Right.
The defense, they still need to find a way long term, I think, to replace some of those Montour minutes. But Bill Zito and that staff, they're already thinking about what they're going to do with the trade deadline. What do we need? You bring in a guy or two. But overall, the way both goalies are playing, Bobrovsky's been terrific. And the fact they have that experience now, you could easily make the case that they're better and they have a great chance to go 3 in a row Eastern Conference Final and compete for the cup.
You know what I like about this team? There's no Stanley Cup lull.
Not at all.
Yeah.
There's no Stanley. No, we got bravado. Oh, we won the Stanley Cup.
No hangover.
We're just going to throw our. I don't know if they don't throw their helmets on the ice or what do you?
Throw their robes on the ice.
Throw
Throw
the
the
robes
robes.
on the ice. Throw the
There you
robes
go.
on the ice. But this team's playing hard.
Yeah.
They're playing physical. They're look at that. There you
There's
go.
the robes.
Goldie, you got one of those robes?
I did not get one of those
Oh
robes.
my gosh, those
I
are
went all the way
nice.
to Finland, then I'll give you a
I'd
robe.
be
nice.
wearing it here.
Look at
well,
that.
I'll tell you
Those are
this. The guys they let go,
Yeah.
the guys that left had, kind of that personality, kind of loud guys,
Yeah.
Cousins, Lomberg, Montour. This is a real serious team. I
Yeah.
think they've clearly taken on the personality of guys like Sam Reinhart,
Yeah.
Alexander Barkov, Gustav Forsling, even Aaron Ekblad.
Yeah.
These guys just go out.
Yeah.
They play every game.
Yeah.
They don't get hurt too much, those main guys, or they don't sit games out. And they are very serious about their business. They play the right way all the time.
And I think Paul Maurice is all about, hey, we won one, let's win another one.
For sure.
Well, let's flex. Here we are. Let's flex our muscles. Let's be another. Let's do another one. Let's begin a streak of our own here.
Is this fair to ask with some of maybe the veterans they've brought in who have never won and they come here, they expect they're trying to win?
100%.
And that like the new guys come in, not, hey, we're just going to latch onto this thing and bandwagon our way. No, we know what it takes to, or we know what it's like to not win one.
I'm not in that locker room,
I think
but
it helps.
I would imagine that leadership on that team, the Kachucks and those guys, say, hey, you're going to be on this team. You're going to do it our way.
1,000%.
Right?
They practice the right way.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of those guys that sign, because remember, with all the stars they have,
Yeah.
they're paying them all the big money. So there's only a budget. Hey, we need 5 guys. We only have $5 million for the 5 guys. You got to take 8.25. You got to take the veterans minimum.
Yeah.
The guys that come in here, they take those deals because they know they have a chance to win. They know they've got to fit in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the hockey culture. And I think it's helpful that you let a few guys, or, didn't let. I mean, these guys got double their money, so they had to leave. I think it's a good thing because the new guys are hungry. They don't rest on their laurels.
Those guys that go out there and they got that big ring on their finger, and they're going,
nice
I want one of those.
That's it.
If I tell me how to get one of those, and I'm gonna do whatever you ask me.
You know what's
Where's
really
yours at anyway?
When I get it, I will bring it here.
It hurts.
But you know what really hurts is that you guys aren't season ticket holders. What happened? Supposed to be before they won. You guys could have been at all the cup games. You guys could have been at games.
I'm paying full price for tickets. I've been to like 2 games already.
I know, but you could have been partners
I'm
with
paying my money
Mike.
down.
We could have been sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Share a popcorn?
If he's going to wear that, I'm not going to.
Okay,
Let's move
we're
on,
done.
Mike.
Yeah, we got one more block
Very
here.
combative these
You know
days.
what? You're killing me today. We'll be
very
back on
combative.
Game Changer. So Bronny's in the news again.
No one's
Go
soft
figure.
here with these two.
You little cheat.
Little cheat. No, this isn't Bo Camper on the golf course. It's actually Caitlin Clark. Look,
That's a better shot than I could
Golf
hit.
is hard. We've all been there. I don't know if I could. I almost took someone's head off. What's
going on there?
When you have a gallery in golf, things change. And I feel for Caitlin Clark.
It's fine when you've got a professional golfer there, but when you got a professional basketball player teeing that ball up, I'm gonna widen out a little bit on that fairway.
Spread out a little bit.
You're darn right.
Yeah.
Has she ever even golfed?
I think she does. Yeah, I think
she was playing with Annika Sorenstam. She got a hole-in-one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think she's pretty good. She's a good athlete.
She is.
I think she's a.
But I'm just saying, you put the gallery there. I'm probably gonna do the same thing.
What happened there?
She took it a little bit outside.
This is the actual
a little
swing.
bit outside.
Get a little play-by-play.
But she comes right back. Look at that. Right down. Boom.
Beautiful.
As we approach 18, what a drive.
There you go.
Into the middle of the fairway, setting up nicely for
a
great 150-yard approach shot. There you go.
Yeah.
He's going to be in New York at the networks.
I think she made like a 30-foot
season
putt
tickets.
too, so she can putt.
Look at the crowd though. That's pretty amazing. The crowd itself. All right, I do want to move on.
Cool.
I do want to move on to
When's the
Bronny.
WNBA starting again?
Don't look
Is
at
that
me.
February?
I'm just
Half
happy.
the league has new coaches. All the coaches got fired.
Promoting.
Yeah.
I'm just promoting.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, you're not promoting very well since you don't know when the season starts.
It starts when it starts.
Bronny James has been moving back and forth between the G League and NBA, and apparently he's only going to play home games.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go in the
for
home
the
game.
G.
the G League. Yeah.
Not a fan of this.
When's he going to
and
play?
Tim Tebow and Michael Jordan can ride the bus in the minor leagues. This guy too. This guy
go next to a
can
junior
too.
college team or something. What do you do after that?
Yeah, I don't like this, man. If you're going to be
First
part
off,
of it,
let's
be a
not
pro, be a
mention
pro.
Tim Tebow and Michael Jordan in the same breath.
Yeah, there you go.
All minor league
I know what
hockey.
you meant.
Yes,
I know what
that's
you
right.
meant. I don't think anybody's a fan of this. Like, you got guys in that league that are in there every day trying to make a team.
Right.
And now, hey, he's LeBron James' son, but now you're letting a guy kind of pick and choose when they want to play at a minor league level. Not a great example to set.
No. I know that's horrible. It's a disservice to the guys that you're talking about. The guys that are they're busting their butt and sweating and trying to get into the league. To have a guy, I don't want to go with you guys on the road.
I don't want to take that bus up to San Francisco.
So where is that?
And it makes game one when he actually came in. It makes it look even more like a photo op.
Where's that team play at?
They're right there.
They're in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So he stays at the old. Well, no, he's got a mansion of his own.
I'm sure he's at the
stays
mansion.
there, right?
He's doing very well.
Actually, it's a good deal if you're Bronny.
Yeah,
He's probably got a better basketball court in his backyard than he plays on in some.
Bronny caught the perfect wave of NIL, then right into the NBA. So I think he's doing all right.
He
he
got the perfect.
He doesn't need the NIL.
He bought the perfect game, perfect ride the day he was born.
Right. True. But hey, he still had to go out there and ball.
David Sampson deal.
No, you don't. You have to go out and ball. He's not.
He didn't have to.
Is he balling?
Yeah, if he quits today, whatever.
Yeah.
I want to be a movie producer.
He'll be all right. He's gonna be all right.
There's one. How many guys you think are sitting out there going, I can't get in that league?
Well, that's it.
I can't get in that league and play. Bronny's playing.
And you know what also undermines a little bit from his standpoint? Like, he is a talented basketball player. He's good. But now, no one's going to talk about
No.
that and
Right.
his talent and can he make because of all
That's what I'm
this.
saying. It made game one, the moment
think-
with him and his dad, just more of a photo op
You
than
think
it was
maybe he
actually.
reverses course after the public backlash?
I don't
and says,
think so.
No?
I don't think so.
I could see
I hope
it.
so.
Well, maybe he plays more.
Right.
You know, he
Get on the
maybe
bus.
Gets his average up to 3 points a game or something like
See,
that.
this is what's going to happen now.
1 rebound, maybe. 4 turnovers.
3, 1, and 4. It's quite a line.
Timeout. All right. That'll do it for Game Changers. This was a fun
Do you
one.
have a prediction 2 in a row for the first time this season for the Dolphins? That's a
Yes.
big yes,
I
right?
do.
Okay.
Yes,
Double
absolutely.
digit
2-0.
win.
Double-digit
Double
win.
digit.
Digit win. Yeah. Foot
job
on
by
the
you,
gas
Cunha.
pedal. Foot on the
job by
They
gas
only
pedal.
won the other 3 games by 15 points, combined.
They lost the last 3 by 10 combined.
True.
So
We got to
you
get
know.
Tehran back
Yeah.
in here.
Hey, he's working. He's
I'm
working to get these
By the way,
guys
if they
ready.
win again, he's
Bro.
never coming back. He's going to be like the Panthers with the Robes.
I'm working too. I'm working too, right here.
Yeah.
I'm working right
Every
here.
day.
Well,
Never
this
day.
week you are.
Never
since you
missed
came
a
this
show.
week.
Yeah, well,
Thanks for watching. We'll see
I'm
you next
working
week.
unless I miss.
Yeah, unless you forget.
NSB.
I want to get one of those robes.